Come on. Somebody show up. Ah, there we go. Who is it? Bugsy, what's up, buddy? Doing a little heat treat over here. Been doing some cutting, some grinding. I'll show you a model coming up before long. This one was designed by our very own Cheeto Bandito. This is his little bird and trout. There is one aspect of it I haven't ground yet, so I'll do that right fast. We got 9 minutes before we got steel coming out of the oven, guys. I can't get into anything super duper intensive, but I can do this. Like I said, this was designed by Cheeto Bandito. He is the designer of many beautiful knives. And this is one he entrusted me to make a batch of. They're not even close to available yet. Not even ready for heat treat. I've only got this one shape. I'm not spot none with this, so I will be the same. That was that. That didn't take long. Show y'all what she looks like there. I know it's hard to see without a background. It's hard for me to hold it correctly. Just add a little thumb ramp in there. This is going to be an S90V at about 63, 64 HRC. Should have ultra high edge retention, little bird and trout for you outdoors fellas. Like I said, I ain't taking claims on these yet. I still got to make it. It did do one thing really well though, guys. This, I wasn't sure about this angle on the handle, but when you lay in, you get your finger in that choil and your thumb in that groove, your pinky lays right over that little ramp, man. That thing is freaking locked in, man. So actually a really good ergos on that. He was concerned about the size of it. Thought it might need to be a little bigger, but I've got 2XL hands. Like I said, I'm not riding off of it. I'm right on that ramp. It just kind of gives me, it feels like I'm wrapped. I'm not just squeezing it. It feels like I'm wrapped around it. So that's a really good job on that Cheeto. I don't know if we'll work on any more of those tonight. I've got thugs and frets in the oven over here tempering as well. They'll be ready to start grinding in probably 30 minutes. That should be about right. By the time I get these kitchen knives quenched during this heat treat process, I'll be ready to start with the grinding these knives in temper. I don't have anything for scale work right now. That's unusual. Well, I do want to show y'all one though. Not only am I not trying to sell this, I probably refuse to ever make it again. This is something I wanted to make back 2 years ago. I made one for Scotching Things. And Sawtooth Dave liked it, so he wanted me to make him one. This is the S&T, which is just named after Scotching Things. But somebody asked me what this knife was for. Man, I have no fucking idea. It's just big and brooding and scary and badass, and I love it. No idea what you'd use it for. I mean, you could chop with it, but Just because of Cheeto too, I added a swedge to the front half of the spine. I don't know if y'all can see that. It's not finished yet. This thing is heat treated. It's ground. Not ground super thin. I didn't grind this one to be a slicer. Probably gonna be about 20 thou behind the edge, which for some of y'all who have only handled production knives, that is pretty thin. But that's 65 HRC 3V. But like I said, if he wants to pry a pallet apart with that, or you know, stab his way through a car door with it, it's good to go. I was gonna wait to turn this on because we're kind of in a holding pattern at the moment. We've got 4 minutes or that red hot steel comes out of the oven. So I'm gonna sit down and rest my feet for a minute while we got that spare time. I ain't got nothing I have to be doing just yet. Who all's in here? There's Miss Kathleen. How are you, Kathleen? Ryan Ellis needs some jimping right there. Kind of other way Strider. Well, I don't know if you noticed, Ryan, but this knife is very Strider inspired with that handle shape, but it does have jimping on the butt. Jimping up here. This is definitely Strider inspired. I mean, he's never made a fixed blade like this, but I love Strider's design language, and this was Strider inspired. Scotch and Things is a big fan of Strider, so is Sawtooth Dave. So I'm making this for Sawtooth Dave. I'll be honest, guys, in a super steel like this, to make another one of those, that knife had to be $450, man. It's just so much work. I use my hours and hours and hours of grinding because, as you can guess, it's fairly thick too. It's not Medford thick, it's not a 1/4 inch, it's just 3/16 steel. That's a lot of very hard steel with a pretty high vanadium carbide count to be grinding through. So there may only be 2 of those in existence ever. It is very similar to my Heathen is literally just a smaller version of that. I've got some Heathens cut out, drilled, and pre-ground. This is going to be my very first Tanto Heathen model. And so these are still a little thick because they hadn't been heat treated yet. But I pre-ground them. I've never pre-ground before. Everybody pre-grinds, so I'm trying it just to see how much. I do know this grinding went very fast because it's not hardened yet, so we'll see how much time that saves me. But these have not been cleaned yet. This Tanto belongs to Aiden Miguel, but I'm going to have 2 more Tantos and 2 drop points available soon. But I say soon. Used to I would say soon, and that can mean 2 or 3 months from now. I'm hoping all that's changed. Everything seems to be rolling quite well here lately. Let me put this over here. I never know what angle to put the camera at where y'all can see this. Because when I get out, I'm going to be standing right here, so I'll have y'all blocked. Yeah, we've literally got less than a minute. We're going to take the first packet out, put it in the quench plates. Unbeknownst to us, because we can't see it happening, but inside those 2 pieces of aluminum, all those carbides that are moving around and melting together, all that crazy shit that's going on inside there, we put them in those aluminum quench plates, all that just freezes in space. Traps all those martensite carbides and all that stuff that makes the steel hard. And it is time. First one out. She climbed down. Get there, honey. Where else can y'all go and see your knife be heat treated? How many people are filming that shit? What's up, Ed? Thank you, Crispy. I don't know where else you could go and see that. And it's probably because knife makers know that heat treating is boring as hell. So they don't film it. But, you know, I've got 15, 20 of y'all. That's 37 right now. 15, 20 of y'all that show up pretty regularly just to see me grind or heat treat, and I appreciate it. The other night, you know, we were on for 3 hours. I never saw the population get over 30 something. And when I got done and closed the live stream, we'd had 8,000 people, 8,000 views on that live. It's not the most I've ever had. But 8,000's a lot, man. You know, I don't know if they just stop by for a minute and leave. No idea. But, you know, my thinking is if you get one customer out of that, well, hey, you were doing the work anyway. Why not be filming? Just a little bit longer, suck all that heat out. It's the quenching's already done. Once it drops below about 800 degrees, all your carbides and molecules, everything is just frozen, stopped doing what it was doing. I'm gonna go put this in cryo. Be ready for the next one. I'll be right back. Got some knives in cryo, need to go to temper, but I got to wait on that batch to get done because there's no more room. So we've done a lot of heat treat lately, guys. Oh. Yeah, we'll be doing the same thing here in just a couple minutes. There's 2 more packets in there. And you know, you have to let them soak at 1850 for 20 minutes. But they have to be at 1850 when you take them out of the oven. So because I opened that door, those knives cooled down. I think they dropped down to about 1818. As soon as they get back up to 1850 again, I'll open the door, take the next one out, and we'll quench it. It really is amazing how fast these aluminum plates would suck the heat out of that knife. That thing was almost 2,000 degrees, and you guys watched. Just a couple of minutes later, I was holding it in my hands. I know I've talked about that before, blowing off the plates and cooling the plates. You know, Brian Kim, everybody has said that it's not necessary, but it certainly doesn't hurt anything, so I just keep doing it. Creature habit, I guess. You know, I've also been told that Nitro V doesn't really benefit that much from cryo, but I still do it. Nobody's ever said that cryo negatively affects it, so I just go ahead and do it. So those of you who weren't here the other night, I got my bandsaw table set up. So not having to do near as much 4.5-inch cutoff wheel work, but still not doing everything on the bandsaw just because the one thing Swag Off-Road doesn't tell you, blade changes are a pain in the ass because you have to take the whole table off every time. So I'm kind of saving it for more precise, you know, curved cuts, stuff like that. Anything that's just straight and doesn't require any precision, I still cut it off with a cut-off wheel. Because I still got a bunch of them and they don't cost much. We're at 1848. When that hits 1850, we're going to take the next one out. You guys can see the bright orange glowy steel inside through. You see it through the packet. Yeah. Keep getting damn notifications where John and Kyle and Ryan are chit-chatting. Come on, 1 degree. I know what you're thinking, does 1 degree, 2 degrees matter? Probably not. But when Alex Steingerber told me to do exactly what he told me, the exact way he told me, when he told me, I just don't differ from it. Good God, John, what are you doing? enough of that. What's up, Kyle? Tina's here. His new haircut and new balance. Craig, I'm currently in Glencoe, Alabama. That's where the shop is. I actually live in Rainbow City, about 20 minutes away. John, tell Kyle to shut up so these stupid notifications will go off. Or Kyle, tell John to shut up. I'm sorry. He can come in chat and talk to y'all if you wanted to. He's just blowing up the IG chat group. Yeah, Javon, shut up. Well, one of them was me. I don't care. I'll just give John a hard time. Get a drink of water out of the famous Dr. Thunder bottle. She empty now. Is that Dylan I saw? What's up, Dylan? Sending memes, probably. You fill up my water bottle and get back to the heat treat. Usually takes about 5 minutes for it to warm back up. Just to let y'all know, my picking on Ben Belkin and Cat Wolf on Instagram thing is over. I figured 2 days in a row is enough. If the guy could just get to a point where he could take a little rizzing, I'd stop. But man, him and so many of his buddies are so super sensitive. I don't understand how they made it this far in life. Getting their feelings hurt so easy. That guy, Kevin, I mean, none of them have ever did a drop where they didn't all sell out. I'm clearly not affecting their sales. And nothing I say is untrue or people don't already know it. Like, nobody's ever saw one of my sarcastic posts and went, Jack Wolves are made in China? I didn't know that. Yeah, everybody knew that. They bought them anyway. And they're going to continue to buy. Not a big deal. You guys know the reason I pick on Ben, just talking about the normalization of Chinese knives costing as much or more than American knives. That's all it's about. If he was selling them at a, affordable, reasonable profit, I wouldn't say a word. That guy's trying to get you to send his kids to college. Alright, we're at 1846. We got to get to 1850 again. Fucking Javon's still blowing up the Instagram chat. I'm assuming it's him. I'm blaming it on him anyway. Yeah, I should have notifications turned off. I will have from here on out. If he keeps on, I'm going to fucking block him. going anywhere now. Gotta wait until it reaches temperature. It's already at 1848. Here we go. We got 2 more packets to put in there now. Fun to watch when you put these in there, dude. Any dust, anything on these packets, as soon as it enters that atmosphere, it immediately burns. It'll probably be a good solid 10 minutes before it gets back up to temp. Now, opening the door up like that, putting those packets in, it lost right at 200 degrees. So it'll take it a while to climb back up there. By the time that's done, the knives that are in temper will be ready for grinding. Then I'm going to grind them till I run out of belts. I'm going to run out of belts before I run out of knives to grind. But I got to get some of those ordered pronto. Combat Abrasives kind of let me down last time. It was about 10 days to get belts from them. I guess they're just using the cheapest shipping possible. What's up, Todd Carr? Just a few seconds, we'll go put it in cryo. Keeping my cryo cooler in the deep freeze, and it definitely seems to, the dry ice definitely seems to last longer now. And you can't get in there overnight. Maybe you could, I don't know. But I bring it with me, put it in the deep freeze, put my knives in there. One problem is it's probably got a little bit of, the deep freeze does have a tad bit of an alcohol smell to it now. May get a good over it. It'd be mad for a minute. Put some baking soda in there or something. I'll just wait till that scrawny little motherfucker goes live again. See what I do. I know y'all hear ding dong and he thinks he's funny. Let y'all know now. Friday night, it's probably going to be canceled. it's 1780 degrees. So now we wait. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I could be doing. I guess I could pack it up. No, I don't want to pack that up. Looks like I can go ahead and make the full packet for Cheetos first now. I want to keep it out because I think he's at work. I want him to see it, make sure he's cool with it before I go any further. That, and I want them to compare. I want to be able to stack them and make sure I've got them all the same. It's something I've not done in the past. I've kind of just learned basics as that is. I didn't necessarily learn it. I just realized it's a good idea to have them all and be able to stack them. If I see any high points on one, try to make them match as close as possible. It's really hard to do when you're cutting everything out by hand. Let's see what's going on over here. I appreciate it, Richard. There are some boring moments to this. There's no editing. We're doing it all live. And with heat treat, sometimes it's just a waiting game. And yeah, we got to reset the clock and everything. So once this hits 1850, so it's going to be at least 30 minutes or so before we take anything outside of the oven. But we're about to have knives come out of temper, and we can start some grinding in that process, which is my favorite part. They like about 10 more minutes. I mean, the clown shoes are lurking? I don't know, dude. I'm hoping they all become friends, Stevie. Hoping they all, their skin gets a little bit thicker. They lose a little bit of that sensitivity. Gain a little manhood, maybe. What is that? 7-7. Hey, brother. I'm on JWK side, but I don't know your position. Would be dope if we could talk about it, or call, or in a live if you want. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it, man. Absolutely. I'd be willing to bet my position's not exactly what you think it is. Most time when I have a conversation with people, they realize it wasn't exactly what they thought. But then again, it might be. I don't know. And I don't think there's really a side. Because like I said earlier, man, that guy's never had a drop that didn't sell out. I'm not a victim of slavery. There may be. Just maybe. Enough people that didn't like me that they might buy his knives out of spite. That's entirely possible. So I know it works good. Maybe it wasn't their only purchasing decision. The spot towards being in what he does is part of the reason why. That post, that I wanted to sue him, or my sales were down and I was wanting something to blame it on. Man, my books are closed right now. That's not the case at all. And those who know me know that it was 99% me trolling anyway. Yeah, Kyle, could you ask him kindly to stop though? I'm tired of hearing that phone ding. Because if he doesn't, it's gonna cost me. Alright, let's start the time. 20 minutes from now, we'll pull those out of the oven. The 7 I really don't really know how to take. I'm on Jack little side. I don't know what that means. But I can tell you this. There are people in this chat who were friends with Ben. And once you no longer do paid advertising for him, and by paid I mean he sends you a knife, you get to keep it for free as long as you say nice things about his stuff. Once you stop that, you no longer exist. So if on his side, if that's what you mean, or you mean you think you're friends with, I don't know how you describe it. I'm just saying, I know people that I thought that, at one point in time thought they were friends, didn't want anything from it. As soon as they stopped, as soon as they stopped promoting him, that was over. They no longer exist. I know, you could probably say he's a busy man, and maybe so. But I'm never too busy for my friends. All right, temper is done. So we're gonna get these out of the oven. I think we'll get one anyway. Hey, for temper, guys, you can run them underwater. It doesn't hurt them at all. Get them cooled off. Dylan was here a little while ago. I'm gonna do one of Dylan's first. Dylan Mallory for us. We're going to cool that off and get the grinding. I'll be right back. Getting this flat ground first, guys. That's one thing I've definitely learned in the past few months. The whole process looks better. Much better results if you flat grind it first. Even if you're gonna, it don't matter if you're gonna acid stone wash it or everything looks better if it's finished nicely ahead of time. Because I used to think, well, man, I'm gonna acid stone wash that anyway, what difference does it make? Well, then I started doing this, and I found out the difference that it makes. It's a huge difference. The main thing I'm looking for here the most important part is I want to get the ricasso nice and clean. All this up here is going to be ground off anyway, it don't matter. But whatever that ricasso looks like when I start grinding it, that's pretty much what it's going to look like when it's done. It is a little time consuming, and it does somewhat change the overall thickness of the knife. But you know me, I'm all about thinners, so I don't mind that it thins it some. Let's cut the ricasso nice and pretty. That's the main thing I'm worried about. Got her clamped up the jig. It's set at about 4 degrees. rule number one, when I'm using this attachment, I have to debelt this attachment. Because I know sooner or later I'm going to run the soft part of my arm across that belt. It's just a matter of time. Y'all probably be here to witness it. I know some of you will laugh their heads off. It's not going to feel good. I even use this as a rest. That's another really good reason not to have a belt on there. This is a nice change from grinding that thick-ass 3D. Go ahead and get a measurement on this. 64,000. Trying to figure out what thickness I gotta go to. We're not far from it already. Just need to go to close. not a bad looking saber grind, but I hate saber grinds. Wasted steel. Wasted time. We're there, we're at 6.0, so I gotta lower my angle to get that to rise some. Only got 2 minutes before we have to point it. Alright, pause that. Get ready to get this steel out of the oven. Oh, Dylan, you are still here. I'm glad, man. I'm trying to get that thing to about 6 thou at the edge. And that's not big enough to be a hard use knife, so I want it to be super slicey. Where is my knife? Alright, here we go. All right, we gotta let the oven get back up to 1850. Then make a couple more passes while that's happening. Be right back. We got 2 forests and 2 frets coming out of cryo going to temper. It's cold, it's sticking in my gloves. I still got a couple minutes to go. We get a couple more passes. So I got this side done. Being a thinner, higher HRC steel, I'm making sure I dip it every pass. We don't want to expose it to any high temperature. There's no coming back from that, no 60. That'd be a scrap blade. Don't like much, we're going to do a belt progression. I don't know if you guys can see that. When I marked it earlier with a Sharpie, I was at 60,000. I can still see those little tiny Sharpie marks right at the edge. That lets me know I've not hit the edge, so I'm not making it any thinner. I'm just pushing the bevel flat, more straight up the spine. When it starts to touch that spine, you want to stop. You don't want a little divot in the spine. And it wouldn't necessarily hurt anything, but that's not very professional. Time to take these out. This is the last of the heat treat for a little while. time it worked out pretty good because we're trying to change the belt anyway. And the belt's still cutting fine, but we're going to a higher grip belt. Just leave a prettier finish on that back of that. We're going to switch it back when we do the other side. We have to be even more careful here. This higher grip belt creates more heat. So we're not hogging off the material anymore. We're just refining that scratch pattern. Kind of like Kyle when he starts. Now we'll switch again to 240. Every time you put one of these high grip belts on, you burn the cash. They don't last long at all. They sure do make a pretty finish. Look how clean that plunge line is, guys. I do that, I eyeball that. I don't even use a jig, a plunge jig, as you can see. It'll be a beautiful knife, Dylan. I don't know why I was trying to know I keep working through the gloves on. Alright, we got that one last clean throw. Then we can concentrate on trying. Somebody let me message me. He had to let him know I'm on my last water. I'm too fat to get hot and run out of water. I appreciate that, Dylan. Kind word. necessary, but we're gonna knock it and see where we're at. We gotta get down to about 5-6 thou. Now we're at 40. We got a good ways to go. As you can see, that grind hasn't even worked its way up the bevel yet. Or the bevel hasn't worked its way up yet. We may call it a night after this. I was here for a couple hours before we turned the camera on. I just got excited when we didn't want to do it in the trainer. We will do that. Keep in mind, I showed how good it looked earlier. We still got a Scotch-Brite belted when it's done. It'll be plainer than that before it's open. Once you get one of them beautiful ass screaming sharp tile friendly edges on it. Man, I forgot to heat treat those skinny ass paring knives I was gonna make. I was gonna do that and I forgot. It's too late now. See, one thing I am concerned about with those, I think once I fold my foil a couple of times to fill my packet, I'm worried it might actually be thicker than the blade material, so I might not get contact during quench. So I may wait and get some, since this is 14C, they've got a paste you can put on them instead of putting them in a packet. Maybe order some of that paste. I think the packet's going to mess up the temperature. Well, maybe think of that when I measured that edge and it was at 40,000. That's how thick that whole piece of steel is. Where I like it. Most of y'all seen it already. getting on up there now, guys. Where when you see it that far up, oh man, we ain't got much to go. Keep in mind, you're removing material across that whole inch now. So it goes very slowly from here. Sovich was on here the other night and said something I thought was funny. He said, I can never have the patience to do that, what I'm doing. Guys, I'm the most impatient person in the world. The fact that I am able to do this is amazing. So I want everything to be done right now. Probably why I can't keep a woman. Worried about spider code BTE thickness right now. We all know that ain't good enough. Probably about time to change this belt. Get a new one. I'm gonna drag all the use out of this when I can. This is all I'm grinding tonight. My left biceps wore out. Grinding that 3V earlier took a toll on me. What y'all think about Sever 7 coming in here? Somebody, he was on Jack Wolf's side, so he'd be glad to have a phone call with me. I'm a little confused as to what you want to talk about. Especially after announcing the size and it's set. Seems a little peculiar. Just so y'all know, I don't require anybody to pick a size. Maybe Dan does though, I don't know. I really wanted to finish that knife tonight, but my hands are getting a little unsteady, and I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to call it and leave it like it is and finish it up tomorrow. I think that's a safer bet. Than eventually messing it up. You have to be able to keep your hands very steady going across that platen. And I'm starting to feel unsteady in my legs and especially my left arm. But so I'm going to leave it because I don't want to ruin that knife. I got a bunch of heat treat done tonight though, so that's good. Yeah, we're gonna call it right there, guys. Anyway, you guys have a good one, man. I appreciate y'all.